Now you
Sorry,
tell.
can I see what it looks like?
That's great.
What is
There's the Kain Hamitzvos Kulan. Kishurim,
Oh,
Tzuyim.
there's a different pair. Let's see. This is it there, right?
Yeah. That's right. Okay, so Kain Hamitzvos Kulan. And so too the mitzvahs. All Taryag mitzvahs, Kishurim, Utluyim. We said up until now about the fact that the Adam, and particularly his neshama, the spiritual component of the person, is a harkava. He is a combination of guf and neshama, of body and soul. And the soul is connected upstairs to all the olamas elyonim, the shorsh of a Jew, the neshama of a Jew. And this is why we said that when he does things, talks, acts, even thinks, it creates reverberations in all of the upper worlds, all the way down to this world. Because when a person recognizes Hashem, and how does a person recognize Hashem? By doing his mitzvahs. That's the greatest recognition of Hashem there could be. That recognition is the greatest honor that can be given to Hashem. And that is why the person was created. On the bottom it says, Kol hanikra b'shmi, u'kvoidi b'rosiv, u'kvoidi b'rosiv hu, b'diyuk, yesod, zeh, Marati ki hakavod, kulam, yisakin, lamala, utok, atikunim, shel b'nei, ha'olam hazeh. All of these spiritual rectifications occur only through people that are living in this world, that are still alive and are in this world. They're the only ones in the entire universe that can give any power, any light, any sanctity to the universe. Only the people that are in Olam Hazeh, that are still alive. Bnei Adam hem tzadikim v'chasidim v'yodim l'takim tikunim. And all the more so, of course, when they are tzadikim and they know how to do the mitzvahs, both in terms of all the halachas and all the details of the halachas, and also, like we're saying, with the proper intention. The proper intention that they're doing the mitzvah, l'shem Hashem, they're doing the mitzvah, kasher tzivani Hashem. The person puts on tzitzis, he puts on tefillin, puts on his talis in the morning. He says, Hineni machaven l'kayem mitzvahs bori. Shesivani, l'isatef b'tzitzis. Oh, now that's a mitzvah. That's a mitzvah that he's doing right now. He's doing this. He's doing this because he recognizes that Hashem is the creator and he's commanded him to do the mitzvah. And then, like it says, the ikar kavana of the tam of the mitzvah. Leman tizkru v'asisim es kol mitzvah side. In order that you should do all the mitzvahs. Gam kenha. So that's what he said here so far. And then he brings over here that the Chazal, Zeu Shamur Chazal, this is what Chazal say, Ha'avos hein ha-merkava. We were talking about the Merkava. What's the Merkava? Says Chazal, you know who's driving the Merkava? You know who's in the Merkava? Ha'avos. Hein ha-merkava. They're the Merkava. Big stretch limousine in Beverly Hills. And who comes out of it? Some mushchas, some mamzer, some Russia, some Niyuf. And people go, who? And if they give cover to a person like that, they become like that. Chas v'shalom. But when we attach ourselves to Hashem, and we praise Hashem, we give honor to Hashem, we become more like Hashem. So we're becoming more like Hashem with the mitzvahs that we do, and the Pesukah de Zimra that we say, that speak all the great honor of Hashem and the greatness of Hashem and the covenant of Hashem. And they're looking in this stretch limousine in Beverly Hills. They're becoming more like this person that's in the limousine. Avos hein merkava, hein leheper. See, he's talking about them right now. Hein leheper, and so too is the opposite. Has v'shalom. V'pogrom echad, v'koikoso ve'ivoro, ayidei chatasoy. This should give us the wherewithal to next time the Yetzer Hara tells us to do something. What does the Yetzer Hara do? He says, don't think about anything. Just think about the fact that what I'm telling you to do is going to give you a lot of pleasure. It's the only thing he tells you. Because he's got nothing else. He's got nothing else to sell. If you start thinking about Olam Haba, about Olam Hazeh, about your Hatzlacha, about the fact that you want to be a Adam Hashalom, you want to be a full person, a complete person, a decent person, you're not going to listen to the Yetzer Hara. He says, nah, don't think about anything. Just think, that is something that I want to do. Yeah, do it. Yeah, right? You chump. And you are. You're a chump. What did you listen to him for? You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. That's what he says here. If we could only see what a minor sin that we think is a minor sin that we do. Where it goes, what it does, what it causes in ourselves and in the world. We could never do a sin, but we don't see that. But that's the whole emunah. That's the whole emunah, to realize that this is so. Though this is what he's saying. That this is so. This is what's so. So act according to what you know is so. Gam ken hapagam magia lefi shorshoy leoso haolam va'koyach ha'elyon. So the chait that he does with that limb, it goes straight to that place, to that olam, which corresponds to that limb. Va'koyach ha'elyon hamachavin negdo v'sidrei hashir koyma kaviyoko lahorso, to cause destruction, lachrivo, and havoc. Chas v'sholom. Oy v'avoy. Oy v'avoy. Olahoridoy, olapogmo, or to bring the person down, or to put a spiritual blemish upon him. Olachshich, olahaktin, sichsuch oro, and to minimize and ruin and spoil his spiritual light. We don't see the spiritual light that comes from us. We don't see it. But it's there. Okay. Oh, wow, it's late. Okay. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye, Matt. Thank you.
Where's Matt?
He's right there. He's watching. I don't know if anybody else is.
Oh, he's watching the from home?
Yeah, because he has to edit it. Put it to...
You're saying for when he's
Some of these guys, it says, 9 million views, like that.
Right.
Okay. the one in the limousine. There's 9 pews. One with slots. So that's why we gotta be on the other side. Uphold the Kedusha. Stand up for Kedusha and Tahara in the belts. That's the only way.
Going through Bini Yama. Then they go Kisai here, then go into Hamanukot. That's a good that's what we do it. It's what they understood. 11 is the Gevaya, they set around 1 o'clock. But they're stopping the roads ready beforehand. You can just go down, right? Yeah, you
to HaKodesh.
Yeah.
And then you go to HaKodesh, and then you have to HaKodesh.
Yeah, then you go
to the Bacon and just pass it and go back straight.
Just hope they have buses coming out. I think they're going out, you have buses. Coming into Yerushalyim, they're not going to, they said they were closed.
Which way block? Going Golden Mail be block?
Yeah.
And Barry Road?
No, it's not from Bali Road. It's from the other side, so.
Yeah. So, get the 59 going through Gorilla.
You may not have it. They might stop them.
Have to walk on. What have you got?
What do I got?
Did you ride or bicycle?
I drove.
You drove. You going home?
Yeah, but I'm going home later. I've been going to Rabbi Moore's shir and enjoying it. And I'm thinking of maybe seeing what happens after lunch. Making more of a full day of it.
So I should take 52. That means go down through Barry Land. All right. Not a difficulty. The lie itself is going to be at 11 o'clock.
It starts, it's like the drushes. I said around 1:30.
1:30 is gonna what?
They start walking.
Why would you that? I'm a slow friend.
Walking to where?
Time in the park.
Amenuchos?
Who's a Levitt?
Shmuel Ariba.
Shmuel Arba.
Okay, so the continuing saga of the shore that scratched his back on the wall, and the wall fell down, killed the person, is what it says in the Mishnah. And the din of the Mishnah says Potter, Machlokes Rav and Shmuel. Shmuel says the Patur of the Mishnah refers to Misa alone. That there's a Patur on the skila of the animal because it was done Shalom B'Kavanah. And there's a Chiyuv Kofer on the binding, however. Rav says no, he's Potter, Mizeh, Mizeh. He's Potter also on the Kofer as well as the skila. And the Gemora tried to determine what exactly happened over here. That there's a payment of kofir. How could there be a payment of kofir? The Mishnah is talking about a shore which is a tam. And then the Gemora answered, no, we're talking like the way that Rab explained the Mishnah later on about the animal that was muad lipol al b'nei adam b'boros. Had an animal that was a muad to fall on people in boros. So too over here, he's a muad to scratch his back on the wall and the wall falls down on people. And then the Gemora said, if so, then why isn't the animal, why wouldn't he be a bar katola? We would have had him executed already. And the Gemora said, well, no, the final word was that here also, just like in the case of the boar, the animal did not do the killing intentionally. He was really more interested simply in eating some grass. And he just happened to fall in to the boar. Miscalculated his steps, I guess. And so too over here, the animal was really interested only in scratching himself on the back for his own, on the wall for his own hana. That goes all the way down to the second to the last line on Mem Daled Amid Aleph. Now let's just go from over there. So we're on the bottom line.
But so we still don't have the question, why does he take kofar? Right, we answered the question, why does he take kofar, by saying at least he was a muad, and then we said, but actually he's not a muad. Or did we say he is a muad, but this time was unintentional?
We said that he's a muad. He's got to be a muad.
So because it's unintentional, he doesn't get killed, but he still pays kofar because he's a muad.
Right.
That's where we are? Okay.
Right. Now the Gemora asks a question. Okay, Yethil, you want to read? Mana Yadinim.
What is that?
Not the shem.
The second
Bottom line.
The bottom line. Uma Yevidan דבתר דנפל ככה, להתחתך וחטי צרורות. מנהו אמר רב מירי ברע ורב כהנא בקצין מיני.
Okay. I want to ask the question over here. Mina Yadina. From where do we know? The Basa de Nafal comes Chachek Bey. From where do we know that after he fell, comes Chachek Bey? That the shore was scratching himself on the wall.
Clearly, you said after he fell. You mean he fell if he was scratching himself.
Now, what is the Gemora talking about that fell?
That's Sorot, right?
And wow, there's no Rashi over here.
When he's talking about the Tzorot, he actually fell on that fell on the person?
So, we just said in the previous step, we made the assertion that we're talking about an animal that is not Chayav Nisa for what he did.
We're trying to
He was
prove that it was for his benefit. And he's showing it's for its benefit. How do you know it's for his benefit? Because even after the wall fell, he's still scratching. So it shows it wasn't his intent. It wasn't the intent to make the wall fall on the guy that he was doing it. The intent was really just for scratching.
Let's try to translate the words, Phil. Slow down, step by step.
Manan and Yadin, how do we know this?
Wait a minute, before we get there.
Yeah.
The Gemora said what? The Gemora made an assertion.
That
The
he
Gemora made an assertion that this animal had no intention to kill. That's why he's not Chayiv Misa, because he was only intention was to scratch his back on the wall lahanoso, for his own hana, for his own pleasure. Okay. Now the Gemara says, Bino Yadinan. How do you know that? How do you know that? How do you know that that's what the animal's intention was? How do you know that that's what his intention was? Maybe his intention was to cause the wall to fall down. So that's the Gemara's question. Mino Yadinin, question mark. Right? Mino Yadinin, question mark. Now the Gemora is answering the question. You want to know how we know? I'll tell you how we know. The Basar de Nafal comes Chachek Bey. What does this words mean? After Basar de Nafal, after it fell, what fell? The wall. Right? We're talking about the case where the animal was scratching its back on the wall and the wall fell. So we're saying after it fell, and we know we're talking about the wall, Ka Mischachek Bey. The shore was still continuing to. He was mischachek Bey. He was still scratching his back on the wall. I guess the part of the wall that was still up. I guess. What?
So we're going to say here. You covered what I was going to comment on.
Oh, okay, good. Now, is that a proof that we know that the animal's primary intention was not to cause the wall to fall down on somebody? You hear the Gemora's answer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if the animal's intention was just to cause the wall to fall down on this person, so after the wall fell down on him, what's the animal going to do?
Walk away.
He's going to go like this. You do that?
He might do that. He might say, now I want to scratch myself. Complete change of mood. Instant change of mood, which is what they do.
So you're saying it's not 100% proof.
Right. Because he could have, then the intention could follow immediately. Now I'm going to scratch myself.
Okay.
I've done that, good. Now I've finished with that. That's I'm not having to do with it anymore. Not interested.
Mm-hmm.
I've accomplished my. I'm not that I think that way, but that's what I'm saying. And then now I've scratched myself.
Okay.
And,
which would you think is the more logical way of looking at it?
That it's evidence that he was scratching for chana and not to knock the wall down.
Very strong evidence that that's what his intention was. He's just continuing to do what he was doing before. No? Isn't that the more logical way of looking at it? Okay. That's the Gemora's answer. Okay.
I'm an psychologist.
That'll be accepted. Okay, so now...
Oxologist.
Oxologist. See, that way we don't have to ask the shore what his intention was,
Right.
because we don't trust what he would say. He's nogea b'davar. He may just be trying to
Fool us.
weasel his way out of getting executed. So we wouldn't believe him. Okay. Actions speak louder than words. Okay, now what does the Gemora do? Akati tsoros ninu. Akati, still, says the Gemora. We got another question though. It's still not good. Tsoros ninu. Tsoros they are. What does this mean? What are tsoros?
Tsuras are like pebbles, and the thing is, it's
Tsoros are
really,
pebbles.
it's basically saying it's a secondary cause that did it. He's not liable if he, the idea of the pebbles was the chicken that's kicking pebbles in a road, and the pebble does damage to somebody.
Okay.
He would not be, the owner of the chicken would not be liable for the Nezikim because the chicken itself didn't do it. It was done by it was a secondary effect. And if this is wars going on here, the war killing the guy was a secondary factor, not the animal himself falling on him.
Isn't that called gramas?
It is a grama. That is, because it is a grama. Tsuros is a grama.
Why are they calling it tsuros and not grama?
It's
Tsuros is
a form of grama. It's a form of grama.
Let's take a look how Rashi explains the Gemara's question. Gemara's here asking a question. Asking a question. How does Rashi understand the question? What does the idea of Tsuros have to do with this Gemara over here? See the Rashi? It's the first Rashi on the top of Mem Dalet Amud Beis. Mazel Tov, we got to Amud Beis. Yay! Ezrat Hashem, we should continue.
Amen.
Get all the way down to the Mishnah. Okay, Phil, please read for us. Akati Tzroros Ninu.
It's still the pebble factor. The ain kofer, but you don't have kofer katuv written. Ella benegicha. The havi gufa mamish. The only time you can pay kofer is when it's the actual goring with the body itself. It has to be the actual goring for the kofer to go. So there can't be any kofer involved here if it's a source situation.
So what is Rashi point? How's Rashi explaining the Gemara's kasha? Who's the kasha on?
Why did we ask the question before, in the first place, about intention and come with the proof that says he was scratching himself after the wall fell? If it's a grama situation, then we don't need that whole discussion. We just say the reason there's no kofir is because it's grama.
But he's changing the word though from he's talking about the kofir situation, which is different. And the kofir is what Shmuel said that he defied kofir.
We say that is what is it? Rashi.
Yeah.
Is he saying that that the ox actually had physical contact in killing the people for kofir to be liable on the owner? Right. So that by Tsoros, if it's through Tsoros, which they say this is,
Right.
then on that point, then he's not obligated for kofar. He's not even obligated for nisa.
Which is the question on Shmuel, who said he would be chayav kofar.
Well, we have to know what. We know that there's two dinim over here that we're discussing over here, right? We're discussing the din of skila on the animal, and we're discussing the din of kofir on the owner of the animal. Right. So, which din does Rashi mention in this Rashi over here?
Kofir.
He mentions kofir. So the issue over here is the chi of kofir. So the question that the Gemora is asking is on the one who holds that there is a chi of kofir in this case, in the Mishnah. Right. Who was that? That was Shmuel. Shmuel said that there was a patur for Misa, but there was a chi of kofir. And the Gemara is asking, how could there be a chi of kofir? Akati tzroros ninu. Still, even still, why should there be a din kofir? Even if he's a muad, it's not enough that he's a muad to make him chayav kofir. If something that the animal did cause the person to die, Rashi says there's no din kofir except through negicha. Why is negicha any better than what happened over here? Explains Rashi, dahavi gufo mamish, because negicha involves that the animal killed the person with his own goof, with his actual bodily impact on the person. That's how Rashi understands the Gemara's kashi over here.
Right.
Tsuros, the stones of the wall fell on him. That's not the animal's goof that killed him. It was the stones of the wall. It's true, the animal caused the stones of the wall to fall on the person, but the animal's goof did not come into any contact whatsoever with the person. So even if we could, right?
Also beforehand, beforehand, It
Yeah.
said that the shore, that there's, it said that the wall fell on the shore. And he's saying over here the Srorot fell on the shore.
Sure, no, is the wall pieces.
It's the wall
Yeah, I think
pieces?
that the Gemora is just referring to the pieces of the wall that fell on the person. They're calling them sroros.
Ah.
Sorry, Nagicha means contact or
Negicha literally means a goring.
goring? Oh, Nagicha means a goring.
So it means the wall.
So this case is like is the Gemara says sroros. It's that's the way Rashi learns. It's not really a din in sroros per se. It's just a din in the fact that it's not doma to negicha. In order to be chayv kofar, it's got to be doma to negicha, meaning the goof of the animal has to do the killing. And here, that's not what happened. So if so there can't be a chiyuv kofar over here. So this is a kasha the Gemara is asking on Shmuel, who says that there's a chiyuv kofar in this case in the Mishnah, where the animal scratched himself on the back with the wall, and the wall fell on the person. Answers the Gemara, Lou, please.
Oh, I don't have my book. I
Oh.
forgot my book today.
Oh,
Sorry.
1 second. We can rectify that. No, we don't have a Baba Kama here? There's one. Thank you.
What Dr. Leon?
Top of Mem Dalet Amid base. Not the shell.
Amar Rav Mari, Beret to Rav Kahana, said Rav Mari, the son of Rav Kahana, de ke Azio, mine, Tanya, Kavaisa, to Shmuel.
Oh, 1 second. Let's. The answer that Rav Mari Beret Rav Kahana says is the Ka'ozil Minei Minei.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah. Ka'ozil Minei Minei.
It comes from this and from this?
Ozil means to go.
Goes.
The Ka'ozil, he went. Minei Minei. Says Rashi. Let's take a look at Rashi. Read the Rashis.
Rashi. Mine. Oh, the Ka'azel, Kotel. So the wall went. Mine. Ayin Yud.
Al Yedei.
Al Yedei. By the under the power of the Tifsu. The Golo. It rolled.
Al Yedei Dechifaso, through his pushing, he was dochef, or gilgulo in his rolling.
Kol
Oh,
Sha'a. Every hour.
or
Every time?
I mean every time, every moment, even.
Until Shemafilu, that it fell alav on him. Umihu Eno Mitkavein Laharog. And he did not intend to kill.
Right.
I don't get it.
So
He was pushing and it rolled all the time, that it fell on him, but he didn't intend to kill.
See, we're walking a tightrope over here, right? We're trying to defend Shmuel. So we need to at the same time say that the animal didn't kill b'kavanah, because otherwise there'd be a chiyuv skila. So he didn't kill b'kavanah. He wasn't doing this b'kavanah to kill. On the other hand, we have to say somehow that it wasn't the wall, but it was the goof of the shore that caused the death.
Oh.
Right? That's what we need to come out with. That's what Rav Mari is. Rav Mari is, in other words, giving an answer to what the Gemora's question was. The Gemora asked a good question. It would seem, based upon the bare facts that we have of the situation, that the animal, there shouldn't be any din kofar, because it was the wall that fell on the person, not the animal didn't come in contact with the person at all. So Rav Mari seems to be making up a little manufacturing a new, different type of information about the case of what happened, so that we can say that there is a chiyuv kofar. So Rashi's saying the ka'ozil, that it went, the kosel went minei from him. Even after the wall fell, that the animal continued with his dechifos and his gilgulos, kolsha, in a continual fashion. In other words, ad shemapiloi olav, until the wall fell upon the person. So, is the animal's body coming into contact with the person at this point, according to the answer that Rav Mari is giving?
Yes.
Yeah. I still don't see that the animal's actual body is coming into contact with the person, like similar to a case of negicha. It seems as though that the animal is using the wall, like he's continuing to do what he's doing, and because of the force of what he continues to do, the animal is the wall is.
It's basically adding on, saying. See, the question is, you don't say the shematila. Let's assume the shematila was the wall that fell on him. It doesn't say what fell on the wall or the ox. But even if it's the wall, now it's definitely being done by the koach of the ox, as opposed to just some happenstance that he started the ball rolling and that did it. It's not Schroer's. He's trying to knock out the Schroer's idea. And he's trying to say it's not just the wall that kept doing it, he kept pushing. It's his pressure that caused it. So since he's in a sense directly involved in causing him to die. Even though he didn't intend it, because he was only doing it for pleasure.
Could it be that because the ox is so close to the wall, he actually almost in part of the wall, that he is part of the wall, because he's all of him is pressed against the wall, so he and the wall are considered to be one as far as Rav Mari is concerned.
So the word gilgulo, does that imply that the ox is now like kind of like we were saying, that the ox is now rolling with the wall? The ox maybe slipped and is falling over and combining with the
this
wall?
word gilgul, I don't know what he's what's with
The extra weight of the ox also with the wall. Maybe the wall by itself wouldn't have killed, but with the ox there,
Right.
The dechifo is the pushing of the ox. The gilgalo is the constant movement of the wall because of the pushing of the ox.
Well, it's vigilgulo. So
Ah.
it's pushing and rolling.
Right? Achema piloi halav. Until the animal caused the wall to fall on the person. Person has a gun. He shoots the gun. And somebody gets killed. Would we say, oh, he didn't do it, the gun did it. He didn't touch the person. Obviously we wouldn't say that. Why?
Because the person aimed the gun.
He's aiming, he's using the gun in a calculated way. It's like his hand. Like a person has a knife and he stabs somebody. You wouldn't say, well, the person is goof. He didn't. The murderer's goof. He didn't touch the victim. It's not his act. Of course, it's his act. He was just using. He was using the knife. He was using the gun. But it was his aim and his force and his design that caused the result. So in that case, it's I guess like what Phil was saying. It's not simply that the animal was doing, just walking along the street doing what it was doing, and Sroros sort of like it just caused like a freak thing that the pebbles are getting pushed out and they go and hit somebody and do injury. It was calculated, aimed, and the force of the against the wall was such that that's already called he's using the wall like a person uses a gun or a knife. We wouldn't say that would be considered a case where he didn't do it. It was the gun that did it. It was the knife that did it. But he didn't touch the person. No, we wouldn't say that. There's no. In other words, in this case, Reb Mari is saying that you can't say there's anything missing because the animal's body did not come in contact with the victim. It's even in the case where the animal gores, so his body obviously does come in contact with the person, and in here his body did not come in contact with the person, but nevertheless it's nothing deficient in the act that we could say that was his act that causes the in a very direct way the death of of the victim.
In my way up the mark, if I compare it with Para, so the Para didn't actually kill anybody, but he orchestrated it all and all that. So Hashem held him accountable.
Well, he ordered other people to kill.
Same thing like using a gun.
Well, actually,
What did he?
we have a rule about that. If John tells what's two Goyish names? John
Fred.
tells Fred. No, we had somebody in the yeshiva named Fred. I don't know who's that name.
Christopher.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, we don't have. There's not too many Jews named that. Baruch Hashem.
Yes.
Well, it's actually, I don't know if it's a din that applies to Goyim also, but it actually is a din that applies to Jews. Jew number 1 tells Jew number 2 to kill Jew number 3. Who's liable for the murder?
Jew number 1 and 2.
Jew number 2, period.
Jew number 2.
Period.
Jew number 1.
Period.
You can't be a shliach for an avera.
Why? Two,
You
what's
should-
2
that's
going to
no-
say? What's two gonna say?
One
Oh,
told
but one told me to do it.
you have think for
Oh.
you, think for yourself.
So therefore, you're not responsible at all. What's the rule? We say, Divrei Arab, Divrei Talmud, Divrei Mishomim. We have the words of the teacher, and we have the words of the students. So if the words of the teacher say, don't do this, that's Hashem. He's the teacher. He says, don't murder. And the words of the students, that's Jew number one. He told Jew number two to kill. So he says, yes, do this. So who is Jew number two supposed to listen to?
Hashem.
Supposed to listen to the teacher. Supposed to listen to Hashem. So when he says that, oh, but Jew number one told me to do it, that's absolutely no excuse. So Jew number two is Chayav Misa, like a murderer, just like he decided, because he decided really to do this on his own.
And Jew number one is completely off the hook?
He's off the hook.
Not quite. Hashem probably takes care of it.
He's not Chayav Misa at all.
What if he pays Jew number two to do it? Doesn't matter?
Doesn't make him Chayav Misa. He didn't kill anybody. The point
What
is
if
that
he
Jew number two
facilitates
the point is that Jew number two is responsible for his own actions.
Right.
He should tell Jew number one,
Take out
go jump in a lake. If you want, you go and do that if that's what you want to do. Don't tell me to do that. Hashem says don't do that. I'm not doing that. Right? Person is responsible for his own actions. He can't tell somebody else told me to do this Aveira. There's no such thing in the Torah.
But isn't one responsible for his action of paying to go and kill somebody?
There's no din misa on the person. There's no din misa. No din misa. Misa is only the murderer is only the one that murders. He's the murderer. I mean, Roy's right. Of course, there's going to be Jew number one is going to be accountable in Shemayim for encouraging him and enticing him and ordering him to do an Aveda. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Okay.
But in terms of liability for murder is Mrs. Besdin. Mrs. Besdin is only for the one who actually murders. Okay. So how do we get onto that?
Cover me.
What did that have to do with anything?
Not
All
sure.
right.
Okay. I'm not sure either. Okay, in any case,
So what Rav Mari is saying is that there's two ways that the shore could have knocked the wall down. One would be such that the shore's action was a minor part of it, like he brushed against the wall and the wall fell because the wall was weak and just needed a little bit of a push. Or the second one is that he pushes against it and keeps pushing and the wall starts falling and he keeps pushing and he kind of moves over with the wall and knocks it down, and therefore we say in that second case it's like he actually did it with his body.
right. It's right. Right. It's like he did it. It's judged as though he did it with his body. He was using, in other words, the wall as a knife, as a murder weapon. So obviously, when somebody uses a murder weapon as a murder weapon and he carries out the murder with the murder weapon, we don't say he didn't do it with his own body. He was using the murder weapon to do what he wanted to do.
But nevertheless, Rashi continues and says it's not with kavanah. The shore did not have the kavanah to kill the person, even though he did all that.
Right. We have to. Why does Rashi have to say that? What's forcing Rashi to say this?
Because Shmuel says no kofir.
No.
No b'kavanah. He says no b'kavanah.
Misa.
No misa. No misa.
En skila.
Oh,
En skila.
right.
No misa.
No misa. Has to be low kavana because no misa. Right.
He
right,
killed
right.
without intent to kill. In other words, he was doing all of that, pushing the wall and being magalgel and being dochef for his own benefit, for his own pleasure, to relieve the scratch on his back.
Right.
But Lamaisa, he was using the wall in a way that caused the person to die, and therefore it's called that the death was done with the by the shore. It wasn't sroros.
Got it.
Koach of the shore, using the what do you call it? Using the wall. Okay. Says the Gemora Vayter.
Tanya, learning the brisa, kevaisa, with intention, to Shmuel, that of Shmuel.
What's this mean? Tanya kavase de Shmuel.
We learned in the brisa the intention of Shmuel. That.
We learned a
Shmuel
brisa
considers
which what?
What Shmuel considers intention to be.
What this means is that we learned a brisa which accords with Shmuel, which is mechuvan with Shmuel. Really, mechuvan means it's in the same aim. It's the same view, same kivun.
Like the view of.
We're on the same wavelength. We're in the oto kivun. Anachnu ba'oto kivun. We're on the same wavelength.
Uh-huh.
So we got a brisa that's on the same wavelength as Shmuel.
The tiyuf to the Rav, and it's a refutation of Rav. So in other words, we're saying Shmuel is Rav. According to this, since we have this brisa that agrees with Shmuel, and therefore Rav must be Rav.
If it's going to be it's a Tanaic source that accords with Shmuel, and if so, then it's going to be a refutation of Rav. Now the Gemora is going to bring the brisa right now, and then we'll see if in fact we can what the brisa says. Okay.
Yesh chiyuv b'misa. There is an obligation for death. Uva kofir and for kofir. V'yesh chiyuv the kofir, the patur mimisa, and there is an obligation to pay kofir, but there's no death penalty. The yesh chiyuv b'misa upatur min hakofir, and there is an obligation that there's a death penalty, but there's no kofir. The yesh patur, and there is an exemption mizeh of both. So there's all four permutations of the combination of the two conditions.
In other words, we have four possible cases. We have four actual cases rather, where we find these four dinim will be applying to one of these four cases.
HaKetzad, how is this? Muad b'kavana. He's a muad for intention. Chayav b'misa. Uve kofir. He's obligated for both.
Right.
So he's a muad, and he has intention. He's obligated for both.
Right. In other words, the animal was a muad, and he killed the kavanah.
Right.
That was his kavanah.
Muad.
Then there'll be a chiyuv on both kofir as well as
misa.
As misa. Right.
Muad shelo the kavana. So he's a muad, but he did not have kavana, which is like our case. Chayev the kofir, he's obligated in kofir because he's a muad. Upatir mimisa, and he's exempt from the death penalty because he didn't have kavana. Right? Tam the kavana, So he's a tam, but he had kavana to kill.
Right.
Chayav b'misa, he's liable for the death penalty.
Right.
Upatur mi kofir, but he's exempt from kofir because he's a tam.
Right.
Tam shalo b'kavana, he's a tam and he do not have kavana. Patur mizeh mizeh, he's patur from both because he's a tam, so he's patur from kofir, and he didn't have intention, so he's patur from misa.
Right.
V'han nezikin, and the damages, shalo b'kavana, if there's not intention. Rabbi Yehuda, a mechayev, Rabbi Yehuda obligates, but Rabbi Shimon putar, and Rabbi Shimon exempts. So what do we say? For concerning damages, if there's not kavana, Rabbi Yehuda says he has to pay the damages, and Rabbi Shimon says he doesn't have to pay the damages. My time, what's the reason to Rabbi Yehuda? What's the reason of Rabbi Yehuda, who says he's obligated? Yilif mi kufru. I don't know what yilif is.
Learn out from
the law of kofir. Ma kufru, just as he pays kofir, shalo b'kavana, even if it's not b'kavana. Chayiv, he's obligated af hanazikin, even for the damages. Nami also. Shalo b'kavana, if it's not kavana, chayiv, he's chayiv. I don't know, I got lost.
Okay, so the Gemora is asking my time of the Rabbi Yehuda. Why does Rabbi Yehuda hold that even if the animal did hezek shelo b'kavanah, he didn't intend to do it, then nevertheless he's chayiv? So the Gemora says yalef mikofro. He learned out from the din of kofir. What do we see by the din of kofir? Ma kofro shelo b'kavanah chayiv. Kofir, there's going to be a chiyuv to pay kofir if the animal kills. Even if he did so shelo b'kavanah, the owner is going to be chayiv to pay kofir. It doesn't matter whether there was kavanah or not. Hanazikin. So too, we should learn from kofir that the din should also be so in the case of nazikin. Nami, also. That what? Shelo b'kavanah chayav. That even though the nezik was done by the animal shelo b'kavanah, nevertheless, the animal is chayav. The owner will be chayav to pay for the nezik of the animal done shelo b'kavanah. So the Gemora is basically saying we understand Rabbi Yehuda very well. It follows from the din of kofir. Just like kofir can be, there's liability to pay kofir for a wrongful death, even though the person died shelo b'kavanah of the assailant. So too, we should say the same thing in regard to nezik. Even though the nezik was caused by the animal shelo b'kavanah, nevertheless the owner should be chayav to pay for it.
So Rabbi Shimon, and what about Rabbi Shimon? Really, mikatala, he is exempt from being killed for sure.
Yeah, we're done.